Good afternoon. My name is Ita Mendoza, and first of all, I would like to start off by addressing that my opponent stated that hydraulic fracturing, also known as just fracking, is a drilling process, when in fact, according to the Groundwater Protection Council, hydraulic fracturing is used after the hole is drilled. So therefore, it disqualifies it as being a process of drilling. It is actually used the process to extract the fluid and to create a fissure, which are small fractures in a formation in order to stimulate production from a new and existing oil and gas wells. So in fact, it is used after a well is already been drilled. And okay, well, I will begin with a brief history of fracking. So fracking has been used for many years and it has been done so safely. The first commercial application of hydraulic fracturing, as well as a well treatment technology designed to stimulate the production of oil or gas, likely occurred in either the Houghton field of Kansas in 1946 or near Duncan, Oklahoma in 1947, and the process has been used on over 1 million producing wells according to Frac Focus. So the fact is that fracking is not a new technique. It has been used since 1946, and the reason why today we are having such debates over whether fracking should be expanded or not, it's because fracking has given results, and so therefore companies are expanding it into areas where drilling before has never been done before. And it's no surprise that concerns about fracking began to really rise in 2009 when the practice migrated from states like Texas and Louisiana, where oil and gas development is common, to Pennsylvania, where oil production peaked all the way in 1891. Since then, they really haven't seen much oil production. And when companies go and start this new process, they, just like everyone would, with everything that's foreign, they're speculative about it. And so that is the reason why there is much debate whether fracking should be expanded or not. Okay. So first of all, fracking does not contaminate the environment. According to the Groundwater Protection Council, to ensure that neither the fluid that will eventually be pumped through the well, nor the oil or the gas that will eventually be collected enters the water supply, steel surface or intermediate casings are inserted into the well to depths of between 1,000 and 4,000 feet to ensure that the groundwater will not be infected with the chemical. Also, my opponent mentioned that many different chemicals are used in the hydraulic fluid, which is used to be pumped into the well. But according to Frac Focus, overall, the concentration of additives in most slick water fracturing fluids is a relative consistently 0.5% to the most 2%, with water making up 98% to 99.2%. So all those harmful chemicals that my opponent mentioned are less than 2%. Also, I will address some of the benefits of hydraulic fracturing. First of all, it actually helps the environment, contrary to what my opponent said. Shale gas emits half the carbon dioxide per unit of energy as does coal. And coal burning also emits metals such as mercury into the atmosphere that eventually set back into our soils and waters. So in other words, using hydraulic fracturing is actually eliminating the need to burn coal, which emits metals such as mercury. I'm not saying that hydraulic fracturing is completely safe to the environment, but however, it does eliminate. It is less. It's less a danger to the environment than actual coal burning. Also, fracking, other than also being helpful to the environment, it is practical. Without hydraulic fracturing, as much as 80% of the unconventional production from such formations as gas shells would be, on a practical basis, impossible. The only alternative to fracturing the producing formations and reservoirs with low permeability would be to drill more wells in an area. However, given the cost of drilling, the risk associated with creating multiple new vertical pathways for fluid migration, and the fact that it could take very large numbers of wells located within a very small area to equal the production of even a single hydraulic fractured well, this alternative is neither physically nor economically desirable. For example, a single fracture job can increase the pathways available for fluid migration in a formation by as much as 270 times in a vertical well and much more in a horizontal well, meaning that it is more practical to use hydraulic fracturing instead of other strategies. Okay, so my opponent stated that the process of fracturing is an extremely waste to the Earth's natural resources, and he mentioned water. He said that the amount of water used. He said that the amount of water is actually a waste, but the amount of water used for fracking sounds like an enormous amount, but when it is placed into context, it is not. According to the Environment Protection Agency nationwide, the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, estimates that landscape irrigation consumes about 9 billion gallons of water a day. That's more than 3 trillion gallons a year, or more than 20 times its highest estimate for the amount of water used annually in fracking. So yes, fracking does use up a lot of water, but not as much as other activities such as watering your lawn. The affirmative also stated that manufacturing fluids, chemicals, are known to be toxic to humans and wildlife. He said that 30 million diesel fuel were injected into wells. Well, companies, which were estimated to account for up to 95% of all fracture jobs conducted in the U.S., agreed to eliminate diesel fuel and hydraulic fracturing fluids injected into production wells within 30 days of signing the agreement. And in 2008, the GWPC conducted a follow-up survey which found that in 25 states with potential coal bed methane production, the use of diesel fuel to hydraulically fracture coal beds that are underground source that include water was not occurring. So diesel is no longer used in hydraulic fracturing. Thank you.
I'll save it till the end of the debate.